Yes, people, you are listening to Troy Banxz, TroyBanxz, aka Mr. Goodness. This is the Troy's Tracks podcast featuring our one and only special guest for the day. Introduce yourself, my brother.
Yo, big energy crew in the house. It's your boy feat.Bawo, Ayida. I am a media and communication student. Right now, my final year at the Big BU. Big BU, and yeah, as I'm going into my final year, actually I'm currently in my final year. Presumably it's still Sunday afternoon vibes right now. We are giving thanks to the Lord.
Amen.
Today, man, message to the people is you have one opportunity at life and you gotta give thanks today to the higher power, whatever it is you believe in. Because this world is governed by spiritual forces and you have to love fate and opportunity, whether you're having good times or bad times. Everything is happening for you, not happening to you. So that's
definitely.
Right now.
I like that. Everything is happening for you, not happening to you.
Yeah. All the downfalls in life are shaping you and molding you into the person you're supposed to become.
The man who believes he can and the man who believes he can't are both usually right. So I guess definitely, and it's something I'm definitely having to learn. Like, it's easy to have the victim mentality and to feel sorry for yourself and stuff. But definitely, I think it's all about your mindset and your perception sometimes.
Of course, because your attitude at the end of the day determines where you'll end up in life. Like how you see situations, because we all have our unique perceptions and beliefs molded and influenced by not only our parents, our biggest influences in our life, but the people we surround ourselves with, the media we consume, because it's very important to curate the information you consume with a grain of salt, because
100%.
You're subconsciously influencing your mind when that happens. And a big example of this is I'd say a lot of TV shows or action movies that fictionalize like murder and gangs and all of that, and you have to be careful because your subconscious mind doesn't know what's real and what's not real.
100%. It's the separation, even with like hip-hop and like even with, well, not just hip-hop, even with a lot of drummers, rock back in the day, and punk music, or like even today, like you have like anachronistic music and stuff like that, all influences your mentality. So every time you listen to some of that, which is great, boy, it is like you go gymping, you get hype up and stuff, and like you're ready to take on the day. For every for every like half an hour you listen to that, you also got to listen to another half an hour of like your classical music, or another half an hour of like your soul or your chill music at the end of the day, to just calm down your nerves and relax. Balance, innit?
But like something I'll talk about classical music.
You were the one who got me back onto it again yesterday, so tell us about who you're listening to at the moment.
So I'm listening to if I'm going to the gym, got the Pop Smoke vibes. Rest in peace, Pop Smoke. He brought the energy. He's he called himself a hustler, not a rapper.
Good stuff.
And I really vibe with his energy and his music and his so he uses drill beats. He's an American rapper and he uses drill beats, which are very high bass, high 808s.
Is it UK drill beats or Chicago
UK drill beats. Drill beats. So almost he made his own lane and his own path in life by creating this sound in America that never been heard before. Because like American rappers never hop on a drill beat. Classical music has a way of elevating your consciousness, because how do I explain it? How do I verbalize this? Just the way the pianos are all, the keys are all synchronized together. It gives that sense of tranquility and serenity that you feel like also gets you meditating on life, like saying, wow, like what am I thinking about my higher purpose and what I want to do and what I need to get done. But it's also that peace, tranquility that's saying, nothing else is irrelevant except this present moment right here.
That's brilliant. Yeah. No, 100%. And like you said, it's the element, the musical element, which is amazing. But also you've got the kind of element, like you said, just being present and being in the moment. And one thing I did want to ask you about, actually, is you're very, like, read up on your mentality and your minds in books and also body language. You're like an expert in body language. So can you give us some insight on that?
What you talked about off camera about energy. Life is energy. Energy is the currency. And you see today is the social media age we live in is attention is the new currency of the world.
Yeah.
And we see that through advertisers bombarding us with messages every day, subliminally leading us down. There's a communications theory concept called, what's it called again? I'll just go into another one, which is completely similar by this Marxist theorist. I think he's a Marxist theorist called Louis Althusser. He coined a term called the ideological state apparatus, which is, you know how back in the 19th century, or even the 18th century, 17th century in the UK, a lot of, or even if you take it all the way back to the medieval systems, how countries were governed is by a feudal system. So you saw the power, 90% of the power was governed by kings and queens, and they had their regal systems of courts and courtiers.
Mad, yeah.
And then you have the middle class, the aristocratic people.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if those two are linked together. I don't have much enough knowledge on that to give an opinion. And then you have at the bottom your peasants, your hard-working people. Not the hard-working people, but your peasants who literally have next to them nothing.
Paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah. Getting their coinage, innit?
Yeah, I'll tell you.
And
the
idea of the ideological state apparatus is the ruling class disseminate their ideas, their cultural values down the triangle of the feudal system. So down the triangle to the middle class, to the peasants, they show them how to think.
Fair.
And they shape and mold themselves so to link this to present day. We see this with the government systems and the media and news outlets with their own different cultural values and news values and what they value. So the Sun is 100 times different to what the Independent would say or what the Times would say. The more conservative ones to the more, I couldn't tell you more. I don't have enough knowledge on politics to be
I get you.
Left wing.
Yeah. No, definitely. Like.
So, as it goes back to attention as the new currency of this world, with advertisers and marketers seemingly wanting us to buy into their products. Yeah. And everyone selling you these self-help books and gurus selling you the path to success and trying to distinguish between the real and the fake. Yeah. Guiding your attention and energy is the most important thing you can do in this social media information age right now. Yeah. So linking this back into body language and energy, energy is the most important thing. What are you doing? The questions you have to ask yourself today is what are you doing to guard your energy? What are you doing to preserve your energy and harness it into productive action to things you want to do in life? So one of the ways this is for me, as I'm learning more about myself in university, is my energy is derived in the gym, fitness. I love it. That's become a recent. I wouldn't say the word passion. Passion is a word that's been thrown around nowadays, but it's become
definitely a focus, at least, like something you're really
more purposeful with it. And I'll learn more about what I want to do with fitness. But right now, in terms of mindset and therapy, fitness is exercise is the number one thing that will extend your life and keep you healthy and keep you living. Yeah, it's a life force, and we see this from, if you take us all the way back to our hunter-gatherer ancestors and millennia ago.
Yeah.
They were walking everywhere. They didn't live sedentary lifestyles. Sitting in an office chair 9 to 5 is probably one of the worst things you can do.
That's
hey,
exactly
me,
it.
I have nothing against a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like the idea of being slouched over, looking at a computer screen all day is probably the worst thing you can do for your lifestyle.
Even being on computers all the time and stuff, like especially on like technology courses and stuff, it's difficult because sometimes you don't get to see the light of day sometimes, or you have to actively go out and like get some fresh air and actually go out and like catch up with people and stuff. Otherwise you'd just be sitting by the computer the whole time.
But not to go off a tangent, body language. Do you want to talk about body language? We went
literally
energy in a bit.
Bun the structure of the podcast. Imagine you're talking to your boy again. Bun everything. Bun my questions in it. Instead of me interviewing you, let's just have a conversation like we do every day.
Organic.
Yeah, man, spit the knowledge.
So I recently dived into body language and its nuances. In the last 6 months ago, I picked up a body language book.
Nice.
By this FBI investigator. And it's one of those things that you learn about a topic and you start seeing it everywhere in life. And it just blows your mind. So, for the people listening, what is body language? Why is it important to understand it? Body language is how your body internally, how your body communicates your mind state. And this is through hand gestures, this is through voice tonality, and this is through gestures or facial expressions.
Okay.
And body language.
You were saying to me yesterday as well that almost 70% of communication is non-verbal.
Over 75% of communication is non-verbal, consisting of those expressions I just said. So
definitely, yeah.
So the other 25% is words, and the body. Think of it like this: the body subconsciously communicates your internal state.
Yeah.
This is not past words, because words are fluff and mirror. That's your conscious state.
Yeah.
What you're trying to say.
Yeah.
But your body's subconsciously communicating how you're feeling. So when you open yourself into that world of communication, you see patterns, you see things, people, and you see it in yourself, and more importantly, but how your words contradict with how you're actually feeling at this present moment. So
100%.
If we just want to throw ourselves into it, let's drop some gems for the.
Hey, do your thing, bro. Yeah.
A lot of we see in a lot of role play movies that the typical police investigator or the FBI guy is trying to crack the criminal.
Yeah.
And he's looking at his facial expressions, his eyes. What are they saying? Because there's a saying that says the eyes are the gateway to the soul, which is completely facts. And you can tell a lot about how someone feels about themselves. We were talking eyes.
Yeah, no, definitely. We were talking about NLP and everything as well yesterday.
Linguistic programming.
Expand on.
Oh, I don't know enough.
I mean what you were talking about.
NLP. In general. So, as we're going back to that, so we see a lot in movies being, I don't know if the word satire, but it's comicalized, that the face is everything. Like, if I'm looking at you right now, and you gaze away to the right, he's automatically deceiving. That's deception. That's lying in a lot of movies we see. But from what this FBI investigator said and a lot of research I've been looking at, it's actually not the feet. It's not. I mean, it's actually. I can reveal myself there. It's actually not the eyes. Yeah. It's the feet. The feet are. And the legs show someone's internal state the most.
Yeah.
And this has been revealed by researchers like Paul Ekman, who's looked into children and their walks and body language as well.
Yeah.
And just a few keys. So if you're anyone listening to this, if you're going out walking, have a look at the feet of the people around you. Of course, like, disclaimer, don't go out.
People thinking you have a foot fetish or something. No,
don't go out and get yourself strange eye. Don't get a restraining order. I'm not condoning you to go out and do anything that touches someone or offends their personal space like that. But the idea of this for the listeners is be more observant in your environment. Be present. Yeah. Like, put the phone away. Social media can wait. The endless scrolling. You gotta be careful, because the thing about social media, they know why it's so absorbing with our time. There are no stopping cues. So what a stopping cue is, say if I'm scrolling down a page, it stops. Like, you get to the end of a news article, it stops, it's finished. But with social media, there's this constant, it's this infinity, it's this Sahara desert of grains of sand. You don't stop unless you give yourself the self-control and reason to stop. And the thing about our brains are hardwired for dopamine and pleasure. So if we see another funny video on YouTube or Instagram, they're going to show us more of what we like. Instagram, it has this algorithm where if you're staring at pictures of hot girls all day, it's going to show you more of that. But if you're feeding your mind entrepreneurial content and things that are going to fuel you and elevate you to higher planes, it's going to give you more of that. But of course, with everything, there's a balance. You don't want to overconsume, because it's this endless ocean of information. This internet world we live in right now.
It's brilliant though, but linking in with body language as well. Like, I guess the same way the internet or like cookies apply, it would apply to a person. Like, say we were talking about Tony Robbins the other day, and like he talked about communication. And one thing I did want to pick up on, slightly tangent, is that I know you're a great communicator in person, in practicality. Just by the way you speak.
Thank you.
You pick up from interviews is that a lot of the time people feel the need to fill space. So say, for example, me now, you speak high, you speak fast, and it's like nervous energy sometimes. I've noticed with you, when you're speaking, even if you haven't fully processed what you're saying, you don't say you leave a pause and you process your emotions before, or you process your thoughts before you continue. And it's like what you said before about non-verbal communication versus verbal communication. Or if we take it into like a relationship aspect, or into like an actual social practical aspect, the physical, so body language, could be what attracts people or repels people, and then what you say afterwards is what keeps them there. So I guess that is exactly what you were referring to earlier when you were talking about body language, and when you were talking about like in terms of being consumed by social media, or in a sense that if you see something about yourself or you look into something and you like it, people want you to see more, or they show you more. Tony Robbins says this thing about mirroring. So when you're speaking to someone, people like seeing mirrors of themselves. So say, for example, I'm talking to you and you see I am trying to be very confident and I have my shoulders back and I have my hands in my knees. Then if you then mirror me, it's almost like looking in the mirror, and I feel a bit more comfortable. But then, say, for example, if I'm more introverted and my shoulders are hunched over, and then you mirror me, not instantly, but you mirror me, say, for example, in passing, or you mirror me when you're changing conversation, then people feel a lot more comfortable and relaxed around you.
These mirror neurons goes back to So for people that don't understand, mirror neurons are all contained in our brains.
Okay.
And it goes back to when communication wasn't language-based. And we understood the emotions of our tribe by reading their energy. That's why I always say energy is everything in life. You understand people's energy. And when language wasn't developed, this is how we non-verbal communication was 100% of communication, and that was read through facial expressions, body language, not voice tonality. Obviously, we didn't talk, but we made sounds.
Yeah.
And a mother could tell if a child, millennia ago, I'm talking about when saber-toothed tigers were around, and it's all about survival and discovering fire.
Yeah.
A mother could tell if her child was what her child needed just from reading her face, and likewise vice versa. And that's how, and it goes back to our fight or flight response to our environment around us, because we are, whether we like it, we are primitive creatures. We evolved from chimpanzees.
Yeah.
We think we are so sophisticated and so advanced
100%.
just because of advancements in technology, and we have the Tesla coming out now. People are going to say flying cars will in the next 50 years, and you have the Elon Musk who's doing space exploration, but we are these primitive, irrational,
creatures,
emotional creatures that are governed by emotions, and our fear-based setting from our fight or flight responses in our body is a biological part of us, because when we were in those prehistoric environments back then, you had to react to what was going around you, because next thing you know, a saber-toothed tiger could jump out and eat you if you weren't aware of your surroundings. So how does that link to today? Say if you're walking down the street and like you're very aware of your surroundings, like walking down the street, but someone walks out the corner of your eyes. Sometimes, do you ever get this? You like briefly slap your head like this just to see who it is. Like, that's your bodily reaction to, it's wondering if it's a threat. We're always scanning our environments for threats. So to link this back to body language is, people say, oh, don't judge a book by a cover, but we are biologically designed to judge our surroundings, especially those closest to us. So a message for the reader is, look at your circle, who you're surrounding yourself with. Where's your energy?
Definitely.
Who's it being shared with? Who's subconsciously influencing you in ways that are positive or negative? So let's give that 5 seconds, marinate. Think about that for a bit.
You were talking about fight, flight, or fright earlier. And especially one thing I wanted to ask you about as well is nature versus nurture, and theory versus practicality, because we spoke about mind and body. And even if we value one over the other initially, or vice versa, they're still interlinked. I want to get your insight, bless you, man, on nature versus nurture as well. It's one thing to have knowledge. It's one thing I'm working on as well. Or it's one thing to think you have knowledge. It's another thing to apply it. And especially, I guess you know that with gym. You can do all your research, and you can do all your studying. But unless you go there and you lift the weights yourself at one point, then it's all just theory, I guess. I'll say this openly out there. I am still to this day, I'm human. I'm a flawed human, and I'm an overthinker. I'm not a doer. I don't always practice what I preach. But you have to remember one thing. Action is everything, and results is the only thing that matters. You can have all the degrees in the world. You can have the best resume, but a company is going to hire someone who gets results, someone who gets the job done. And I think that's a lot of our masculinity is tied to our ability to get things done, to be competent. And there's a paradox: competence and confidence go hand in hand. So you get more confident in what you do by how well you do it. And you see that from the masters and the Kobe Bryants and the LeBron James. They almost have these godlike auras, but that was cultivated through relentless practice, mastery over 20 years, 25 years. And the thing about social media, it's given us an instant gratification view of success. So we think like, oh, we can be this and that with a snap of a finger. That's why
going back to attention is the currency of the world.
Yeah.
We are bombarded with subliminal messages from advertisers saying, hey, get rich in 30 days. Hey, lose your fat in 15 days by having this quick and easy program. We are marketed words like that because as humans, we always want to take the path of least resistance.
Fire. Say that again for me. A fire quote.
We want to take the path of least resistance. We want to be comfortable. We don't want to take risks. We want to have fun. We want to drown ourselves in pleasure. And it's...
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the choice is pleasure or pain. Or finding pain in the pleasure.
Oh, don't get me started. Literally, I even put it on my blog. I should have quoted you, to be fair. I quoted Jocko and... is it Jeff Liedman from...
no coronavirus. It's not coronavirus. People, stay safe, wash your hands for the people. I beg, if you go gym, please wash down the plates and everything. Don't go spreading that, but as you're saying about Jocko, so to cut you off.
Nah, not even, man. Listen, that's just as important. What did I say? Cleanliness is next to godliness and all that business, isn't it? But no.
As you're saying Jocko.
No, yeah, for context. So, me and Bawo talk a lot, and he always drops knowledge. And basically, he gave me a book to listen to. It was kind of not my homework, because that makes it seem like it's a chore. It was actually really insightful. He gave me basically advice. Gave me a book to listen to called, I should know this, Extreme Ownership. And the great thing about that book was there was a quote in there, and something that Bawo said to me last week. He said, wisdom is not gained through age. Wisdom is gained through pain. And I may be paraphrasing a bit, but it stuck with me.
Like, wisdom is earned, it's not learned. It cannot be borrowed.
Yeah. And I think that is the theory practicality thing again. And also, I found that really insightful, like you were saying earlier, about pain and pleasure. Because pleasure is great, and we need pleasure for the instant gratification and to have something to strive towards through life. But what they were saying in the book is it's the process, and also it's the journey that develops you. So every trial and tribulation you go through, it makes you stronger. And that it's like the gym. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. When I used to do my little Spartan workouts back in the day, he used to say that, like, it doesn't hurt in a sense, it's not working.
Yeah.
And you got the pump.
Yeah.
And I guess you know more about it than I do, because you're in there like every day. But it's like when your muscles are growing, the muscles tear, right? And then they grow back.
They break down.
Yeah. Yeah, expand it, because they have to break down for them to
relate that to life is break down yourself.
Yeah.
Embrace pain, embrace failure. And just to let the listeners know about, I've probably made more mistakes in the last year than I have in the last 19, 18 years of my life.
Your life?
So a bit of background was a photographer for a bit, and nice. I always did that side hustle, but now I'll talk about what we're going to venture to in the future. And I remember being prepared for this event. I was shooting a techno event. Yeah. And in Chelsea.
Nice.
And I said to my boy, my really close friend who had been putting me on, and that guy has blessed me in numerous ways. Yeah. And he was asking me questions like, because we just shot a successful wedding. He was asking me like, oh boy, are you like prepared for this? Yeah. Prepared for this shoot, because these are my long-term boys. You can't let them down. Like, I was like, the thing goes back to Jocko Willink concept. He talks about decentralized command and inspiring leaders in your subordinates up and down the chain of command by giving them ownership. So what he did to me, he gave me ownership to lead this photography event with another photographer. Yeah. And when you're working for people in high places in you, and they have someone, especially if they're working with their friends as well, and they're your friends and you have great respect for them, yeah, you just want to deliver. You just want to do a good job, because if you let them down, it goes back to this cycle of trust. Yeah. And what happened with the first wedding I shot is I'll go back into that mistake thing again.
Yeah,
but I want to lead it on to how it makes sense. So
I got all the time in the world. I just let it float. Yeah, go for your thing, dude.
The first wedding I shot was for that close friend I was saying.
Yeah,
and he was shooting it. He was put in charge by the groomsman, who is a Lib Dem politician, and he met him on Facebook by sending just out a random request.
Mad, yeah.
Like, say like, hey, just networking, just meet him out of the blue. We'll talk more about networking later. Yeah. And I met him. I met my boy at a random networking event in the summer. By not random. It's from the GOAT of video directing, Flex God Dabs.
Oh man!
I don't know about him. Go on Instagram right now and see his work. This guy is tearing up the scene.
Yeah.
And he just directed videos for Migos, Lil Baby, DaBaby.
Jesus, so he's on job. Yeah.
He did Bad and Bougie.
Fair.
He did T-shirt, Migos. Man. So I went to one of his talks. I saw on Instagram. Scrolling through Instagram, and just trying to keep up to date with the creative outlets.
Yeah.
And I see an event by him in London, and kid you not, it was a free talk where he'd be breaking down his music videos, a chance to network with other like-minded creatives. This is when I was heavily in photography right now. And the talk sold out. Free tickets, 300 in 15 minutes. So if I wasn't on Instagram when I wouldn't be able to get in.
That's mad.
And so one of my boys from America was in London. I was like, hey, I got 2 tickets in case I can find someone who's not just anyone, but like a friend who I know is like on the path, he's grinding out, who will absorb knowledge and will use it. And I was like, hey, let's go. And he was in London for a few days, and we went to talk, and right then and then, networking. So we're going to networking now. Networking was something that I sort of like, meeting people, new people. I've not always been a people's person.
Yeah.
Like what you said about your humbling compliments about my communication.
Oh, bless you. Not even, it's just facts,
like, it's love, because like I've not always been there's had charisma, been good with people, talking to people, like meeting new people, and
but you've done a lot of work on yourself.
But yeah, it takes work, man. And we'll talk, just to stay on this story, we'll go back into if we talk lead about networking.
Literally, do your thing, man. Networking. Yeah.
And
I'm gonna just shout because I keep interrupting you. I'm doing it now.
I saw this random. I saw my boy from Sophie's. For me, it wasn't my boy then.
Yeah.
But the guy who I told you about, who put me on to the wedding, and I was just like, hey, let me network because people, let me talk to some people. And literally right then and then, I was like, hey man, what do you do? He was like, oh yeah, I'm a video creator. I was like, oh dope. I was like, and he was like, and I was like to him, hey bro, I'll work for you for free to gain some experience in the events industry. And it's like, and he was like, bro, I'm humbled to hear that, man, because you don't see a lot of young people going up to people and just asking for them to work for free, because as Robert C. Aldani said, he wrote the book Influence, and a law of influence is reciprocity.
Okay. To
reciprocate something. So in a phenomenon of law, if I give you something, humans are all governed by self-interest. You want something in return.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, I'm giving my time. He's giving his time as well. But we always want that monetary exchange at the beginning. That's what he said.
Yeah.
So you don't see, when you're starting out in any industry, people want to get paid like this. And he said to me, yeah, you don't see a lot of people working for free, man. Just at the beginning stage, and he's like, I did that as well. Like, and just from his results speak for himself, literally just from getting to know him and what he does.
Yeah.
You can see that the people are hungry for knowledge and really want to hustle. I'll find a way.
And you know what, 100%, and this links into what you said about energy earlier as well. Yeah. I noticed myself saying something that I rarely ever say as well, just in this interview right now. Speaking to you, I said, I have all the time in the world. And it's something that Brendan Bushard says, is that you make yourself busy, or you constantly tell people that you're busy, you fill up your time, and it's all down to priority, and it's all down to energy. So you could be busy for someone else, or you could charge people upfront costs because you feel they're going to waste your time or they're going to waste your energy. But for the people that you really care about, or the people that you really think you can learn something from, you seem to make time, and you seem to have a lot more time. So you can pour yourself into your passions. Regardless of whether you're studying, regardless of whether you got work and stuff, you always make time for gym, right?
Yeah.
Same. Regardless of whether I'm telling everyone, oh, right, I'm always busy and I'm doing this, that. I always make time for my tunes, and I always make time for my music. And it all comes down to priority, but also energy, I guess. And yeah, just hearing you talk about your experiences with networking and talking about time just made me think, hold on a second. I said that, but I literally said yesterday, I'm busy for the next 2 weeks doing assignments. And I just clocked on, like, in the moment. It's, you make time for the people and the moments that matter.
Mm-hmm. Of course, and if you want to see the values of someone, look at who they surround themselves with. Look at the words they say. Look at how they spend their money.
Yeah, 100%.
Money. I've read this quote. Money reveals perspective and values, and that resonated with me so hard because, like, when you start spending money on partying and all the things that aren't good for you, that's showing you what you value. Yeah. When you start spending that money on the nutrition for the gym and getting your vegetables and feeding your mind and body with what it needs, what it must have, what's going to elevate you to higher planes, then that shows what you really value. And at the end of the day, nothing is more important than family, man.
Real life,
that's
man.
The biggest one.
Real life, having that connection, and
let's talk about a topic that people run away from. That's frowned down in society. That numbs us to our soul. That's death, man.
Oh, don't get me started on that. Yeah.
So, death is the ultimate reminder of what's important in our lives, and what we see today is death is comicalized in movies and TV shows and made to be, oh, this bad guy got shot, like this, like that, this and that. And movies were ruined for the bad guys because, as Robert Greene says, it's the dark side that we want to let out of ourselves, but we know we can't let out of ourselves because we will get frowned down in society.
Yeah.
And what we saw of this film, if you tune into the book, read the book, The Laws of Human Nature, by Robert Greene.
Nice.
He talks about this concept of death and how we don't, and a lot of philosophers talk about this as well. Your Marcus Aurelius, your Seneca, your Epictetus.
Whole time Marcus Aurelius.
They say to reflect on death. I think Marcus Aurelius said, live every day like it's your last.
Yeah. For real.
And a big thing that Robert Greene said in his book is that death was so present 200 years ago, where you'd see it on the street, someone would drop dead at 40, or if they come with sickness, because if they get ill, medicine wasn't as sophisticated and advanced back then to treat them, and people would leave dead bodies on the street, and you'd see death in everyday life, and it was normal, it was normalized. But now today, death is a topic that isn't talked about because it's a scary thing. It's this thing that we all run away. It's our since we talked about humans being primitive creatures, emotional, and we are biologically reactive, wired for survival, to survive. So we're constantly scanning our areas to see what are the threats. And humans are the only creatures that are aware of their death, because we have this unique ability to, consciousness allows us to look into the past, learn from the past, use it as a tool, and then use the present. The present is the only moment that really exists, if you think about it. This moment right now, like Eckhart Tolle talks about this book, The Power of Now. And to use the past, the present, so we have this trinity, the past, present, and future. So we can shape our future by our present day actions, and we can learn from our mistakes in the past to ultimately become a better person. But the problem with our consciousness and our rational mind is we humans are aware of our mortality, that we are going to die, unlike any other
real life
animal that is very reactive based. We are still, like animals, we are very emotional, reactive beings. And as well as we like it or not, we are not these rational creatures. We are very irrational at the same time. But this awareness of death shouldn't be a bad thing. You should have, as weird as it may sound or come across, but you should have gratitude for it, because it allows you to show you what's important in your life. And as we said for Sunday sermon, man, it's Sunday, it's a new week is about to start. You just thank God for a new day, man. Like another opportunity, because imagine how many hundreds of thousands of people die each day. But we go and we don't think about that. We go and, not anything against this, but we go and social media cry when a celebrity gets taken away. Of course. I'm not putting anything against their accomplishments or anything. Because they've gone and earned their keep, and whatever they've done. The thing about social media, it gives you this public spotlight. It gives you an insight into the lives of other people. And that's good and that's bad. That's dangerous, because we're ending up minding everyone else's business but ourselves. We don't get to know ourselves. We point our light outwards and not inwards.
That's a fire quote, for real. That's exactly it. Pointing your light outwards rather than inwards. And sometimes, especially if you're on like a self-development journey or like on a mindset journey, from exterior perspective, people could see it as, and like, to be fair, it could be in some aspects at times, but people see it as almost like narcissism or arrogance, or only caring about one, like yourself. But it's more so realizing that you're only capable of, or not only capable, but you're more so capable of influencing yourself and how you react to things, rather than trying to influence the environment around you and everyone else.
Can you say that one more time?
You're only capable, or you're more so capable of influencing yourself and how you react to things, rather than trying to influence your environment. So if you war with the world...
You just touched on a big point, because a big mindset shift for me was this concept of, by Jocko Willink, extreme ownership, and taking the person you are today. The quicker people understand this mindset, the quicker they'll be able to get themselves out of a hole. Understand this. Everything in this life is your fault. It's not your parents' fault. It's not your girlfriend's fault. It's not your boyfriend's fault. It's not your aunt's fault. Everything, the person you are today, is all your fault. And this concept is powerful. Why is it powerful? Because your responsibility rests on you. It's not on anything else. You don't give your power to anyone else. You are responsible for who you are. And
it's a hard lesson, but a valuable lesson, isn't it?
It's a hard pill to take, because we grew up, the nature of our dependency on our parents, because children are these vulnerable and dependent beings.
Yeah.
Who for the first 10 years of their life need to be nurtured and developed and protected.
Yeah.
So we've been conditioned biologically to be dependent on our parents and the people around us for survival for years of our life. So when you
get thrown
the
in
part
the
of
deep end.
becoming a man is taking ownership for every single thing in your life, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and as you said, loving fate.
Yeah.
Loving fate, because whether it's a good thing or bad thing, because no one knows what tomorrow will be, know that you're going to take ownership and accountability for everything. Owning that, because that's your power. And for so many years earlier, rejection scared me, all that.
Oh, man, yeah.
Failure, that's why I told you, like,
yeah.
Now we can go back into this photography mistake that I made. And after coming up of the win of this wedding that I did,
yeah,
I was like, oh, I've got this. Yeah, I'm the man. Yeah, like, when's the next gig? And that's why you have to be careful, because there's this concept called grandiosity. And grandiosity is when you think you're godlike or superior because you've come up with one success.
Yeah.
Come off of the high of one success. And, you know, they say the higher you climb, the harder you fall. And
real life. Yeah.
It's very important to have a perception, a lens of reality whenever you come off a win and whatever you do in life. To look at, Robert Greene says this, to look at the role of others and luck and what you did. So how have others helped you to achieve the success that you just did, or what elements of luck played in this?
Yeah.
Because if you're not careful, you become to have this perception of yourself that you're godlike, that you're invincible, and boom, you hit the floor hard.
And no man's the island.
This happened to me. So what?
Sorry, Vegeta makes me laughing. Vegeta, that's a bit of a tangent.
Yeah, Vegeta,
Dragon Ball Z. Because I
Super Saiyan.
Prince of Saiyan. Yeah.
Or Superman.
I'm telling you.
Kryptonite.
Yeah,
hits you like that.
Because he literally talks the maddest crud, and he just like he thinks so highly of himself.
Yeah.
And when it flops, it's
you
just
gotta be careful, man. So literally, for this Chelsea shoot, going back into it, because we've gone off so many tangents, but we just gotta give the people a bit of
literally, man. It's just conversation. It's all
energy,
good.
You know, this is some Sunday magic right here.
Yeah.
And I went into this Chelsea event for this photography gig and my boy was like, yeah, are you ready for this? Like, you got all your camera gear, your camera's gonna be fine, is it gonna be good in the low light settings? There's not gonna be any grain in this photo, it can't look blurry at all, because these are high paying guys who depend on these photos for their marketing material and social media for the next coming months, because they run this event every 3, 4, 5 months. So like, this is someone's day, the most important day of their life. The photos have to be on point. The bride, no one will judge you harder than a bride for your photos over anything in the photography space. Yeah. They'll be look at, is there intergrain right there? Oh yeah, send it back, edit it. Bro, I had to do like 700 photos, edit them again, literally just to get them up to the scratch of what the client wanted when I did that. But going back into this L I took, and it's L, and L's a lesson. Remember that, people, it's a lesson, it's a blessing. It teaches you, man. Because wisdom is earned, not learned.
Real life.
Really is. You can read all the books, the podcasts, listen to all the podcasts you want, have someone tell you his experiences about something, but you have to, experience is the only teacher, pain is the only teacher. It really is, and nothing builds character like pain. Nothing in this life. Yeah. And you mature through, as we say. Yeah. I went to the event, I was having a good time. Yeah. Shooting pictures again, I was like, my boy kept coming up to me, he's like, your pictures all good? I was like, yeah, they're all good. Yeah. They look good on my camera, like all of that. And there's another photographer there as well. Yeah. And man, when I went to And I sent over the photo. Let's just fast forward. When I sent over the photos to the client, they're like, "Oh, it's too grainy, man."
Them ones.
And then some doing all my settings. I'm trying to do less grain as possible.
Yeah.
And just fast forward, what I realized is the camera wasn't powerful enough for that low light setting. So if there wasn't another photographer there, boom,
Real life.
I would have had no material to shoot. And what I learned from that is, man, preparation is everything. Preparation is everything. And I think Diddy put this on his Instagram once, saying preparation reduces fear. It eliminates fear. And it really does. From preparing for my wedding, the preparation was excellent and sublime. It was just that I got off the high of the wedding. I didn't do my risk assessment as I did with the wedding, because I was off the high of the wedding, like, well, good, like, I got this now, like, I got a bit of swagger, I got that Midas touch, but I was only one win.
Sometimes when you do dive in the deep end, also you got that like kind of airy spirit where you just want to get impulsive and face things head on. And sometimes it's like, you learn things the hard way sometimes. Or like, when I'm saying you, I'm saying in general, but I'm also talking about myself, like, you learn things the hard way sometimes. And you also overanalyze so you don't begin. Like I said, I failed hundreds of times with like events. I failed hundreds of times with just stuff I wanted to achieve in life by certain deadlines, or like, but all of that stuff has taught me what not to do. And it's like that Edison quote about the light bulb. It's like, I didn't exactly. I didn't fail at the first 1,000 times on how to make a light bulb. I found 1,000 ways that didn't work. And yeah, man, even what you said about
mind-blowing.
What you said about success, like Chimp Paradox, one book I was listening to, he said, if you tie your esteem to your successes, then you also have to be accountable and tie them to your failures. And it's like what you said, you have that feeling of grandiosity when you achieve something, especially if it's something you really wanted to get. Or something you really wanted to achieve.
There can't be no ego, man.
And
that's something I learned as well.
Yeah.
Man, ego is the enemy. Ryan Holiday, pick up that book, it will change your life, man. Like, you have to have a detached view. You have to embrace realism, like, and kill the ego, man. Because
real life,
as Joker says, is the number one killer in business and life, ego.
Yeah.
Number one killer.